Everybody, my name is Jacqueline and I wanted to share my birth story slash testimony. And you may ask, why am I sharing my story? And one reason is first just to give God glory for my amazing, birth experience when I was pregnant, and even before. I YouTubed natural childbirth, and I feel like I watched every video there was on YouTube, maybe. So I just wanted to add to the resources just to encourage someone else and just let somebody else know how awesome your experience can be. So just to give a little foundation, before I had even gotten pregnant, one of my coworkers and friends was pregnant, and she was reading this book, and she told me about the book and how it kind of just told her what to pray about. It told her about just how the birthing experience can be, and it was really preparing her to have a natural childbirth. And I was like, I really want to read this book. So like I said, this was probably a year maybe before I got pregnant, or just close enough to a year before we got pregnant. So I started reading this book. The book is called Supernatural Childbirth. It's by Jackie Mize. It's an older book, but you can find it on Amazon, and it's not very expensive at all. But it just talked about how you can have a supernatural childbirth experience. You can have a pain-free childbirth. Just different things that I had never heard about. I didn't know it was an option to have a pain-free childbirth. The things you see in the media is women screaming and yelling and cussing out their husbands. And one, that's not technically how childbirth goes, and it's not how it's supposed to go. And it's kind of an unrealistic depiction of childbirth in general. So there's a lot of fear that's instilled in women having a natural childbirth because the first thing we think of is pain. So this book just talks about that piece. It talks about different things to pray for, and it's just an amazing just foundation to have for anyone to read. Even if you're not thinking about going natural, it still will help prepare you for the pregnancy process and the birthing experience. So it really just helped me figure out what to pray about. So some of the things I prayed for in my pregnancy was that I would go full term, that I would still be able to be comfortable and sleep well, just all different kinds of things. Like whatever you want to happen in your pregnancy are things you used to pray for, and God really answered those prayers, because in my pregnancy I slept great every single night. I wasn't up, I wasn't uncomfortable, like my sleep was amazing. My pregnancy wasn't difficult. I didn't have any like major challenges besides the typical nausea. That part was hard for me, and then towards the end just like pelvic pain, but aside from that I had a pretty easy pregnancy. So, like I said, I read the book about supernatural childbirth, and I just want to share my birthing experience and what that looked like.
Guess what, everybody? She's having sight. Not yet. Stop playing, Jack. Anyways, we're here to tell you that we might be having a baby real soon. Real soon.
Yep, real soon. So I got home from work, and as soon as I got out of the car, well, when I was at work, I felt like I was having really slight period cramps. And then when I got home, I got out of the car and they were really strong period cramps. So as soon as I got home, I went to the bathroom, and it looked like my period had started. So I called my doula. I called my doula, and then I sent her pictures, and she said that it was the infamous bloody show.
Ew.
But my mucus plug did not come out. And I was a little concerned because I was still having period cramps, but she said that everything was fine because the baby was moving, and he's still moving around, and it's been like 2 hours. It's November 13th at 8:46, and the period cramps kind of went away. Now it just feels like I'm having gas cramps. So I don't know if these are contractions or...
It's gas.
Or gas.
Yeah, it's gas.
Anyways, it could be either, but they're consistent, and I'm still having random gas cramps, and it lasts for like 10 seconds, so it's not a contraction worth recording, but who knows?
You never know.
We'll keep you updated.
Yep. So hey, little Fred. Dance, Fred. Dance, Fred. Dance. Time is 11:55. Yeah. I really think she is in labor right now. It's crazy. I'm scared, but it's all good because I'm going to keep on praying for her. I'm going to keep on praying. I give her some more water though. She needs to stay hydrated. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's about 8:40 a.m. and I'm about to take my wife to the doctor because she's been having contractions since about 10 o'clock p.m. last night. Yeah, and she's been up all night. I'm just praying that these are not Braxton Hicks. I hope this is the real deal. So, yeah. Just pray for us, everybody. Continue to pray for us.
So I want to share just some of the things that I was praying about for my labor, and then just give you from the time I started contractions up until I started to push, because I don't have footage of that part. So I just want to talk through that piece. So some of the things that I was praying for my labor, one was that it would be quick. I didn't want to be in the hospital for more than like 3 or 4 hours, like giving birth, because I just wanted it to be simple, fast, to the point. I prayed for bearable contractions. In the beginning, I was praying for pain-free contractions, but I just didn't feel like my faith was at that point where I could actually have pain-free contractions. So I prayed for bearable contractions because that was where I was at. I prayed that I wouldn't experience the ring of fire, which is like that burning sensation you feel when the baby is, I guess when the baby's crowning and about to come out. I didn't want that because I heard about that. That was pretty much it. I prayed that I wouldn't have to be induced. I prayed that I would have the baby full term. But those were the main things. My main prayer was just that it would be quick and everything would go good and I would be able to push my baby out naturally. That's what I wanted. So just to walk you through the process, since I don't have videos, I started my contractions at around 10 o'clock that night. It was a Wednesday night. So it started at 10 o'clock. And one other thing I prayed about is that I could labor at home as much as I could so that I wouldn't be in the hospital long. So contractions started at 10, and I labored all throughout the night until we left for the hospital around 10 a.m. that morning. So for the contractions, first few hours, they started out, bearable. I mean, it was I don't want to say it was painful, but I mean, it was kind of painful, but nothing major. Like I could take it. And then into like maybe the AM hours, 1, 2, they started to get a lot stronger. And I was trying to like lay through them, like lay in the bed, and just kind of labor through them. But that was too hard for me. So I would like get up, and some things that worked for me was like sitting on a ball, sitting at the edge of the bed. So just kind of figure out what works for you. I know some people like to get on their hands and knees, but whatever relieves pressure, whatever works for you, figure that out. I also had a doula. So she had told me about getting a yoga ball, which I got for $5 at Five and Below. So nothing too expensive. So that is what I did. And they started to get stronger. And I was also having like period cramps still. And I was experiencing like some brown discharge, so I was a little worried. But I just labored through the night, and then my husband called the doctor in the morning, and they told me to come in. So I was having contractions in the car. We got to the doctor, and where my OBGYN is, it's connected to the hospital that I was giving birth at, so that was nice. So I went to see my doctor, and she checked me, and I was 4 centimeters dilated, and I think she said like 90% effaced, which I didn't know what that piece meant, but she told me it was time to have the baby. So that was crazy, but I was thankful. I was scared I was gonna be like 1 centimeter dilated and I was gonna have to go back home, which would have sucked because I felt like I did a lot of work that night. It was 12 hours of me having contractions. So we went to the hospital, or they rolled me to the hospital, and the contractions were still bearable, but maybe 30 minutes into getting admitted to the hospital, the contractions, like once my doula got there, the contractions greatly intensified. And I remember saying, if this is what it's gonna feel like, I don't know if I can do this.
Hey everybody. She's 5 centimeters dilated. Her contractions are were every 2 minutes. But she's a fighter.
Can you get right now?
Aren't you?
And one thing that I read in one of the books that I was reading about natural childbirth was that it talked about the different phases of labor. And one phase was the I can't do this phase. That's not what it was called, but that's just what I remember. When you get to a point where you say, I don't think I can do this, that's when it's almost time to push. But of course, none of that went through my mind in the midst of going into labor. So make sure you have a coach or a doula remind you about these phases, because it completely left me. But at that point, I was like, this is hard. Like, no positions were working. And some advice that I have is figure out your labor positions, because for me, every time I had my contractions were literally back to back. Like, sometimes I was having like 2 contractions at a time, and I didn't have a chance to rest. So in between my contractions, they were like 2 or 3 minutes apart. I was trying to rest, but instead I should have been getting into the position so that when the contraction did come, I would be ready. Because when the contraction came, I couldn't really move. Like, it was too hard to move. So that's one tip I have for you. But anyways, I was laboring in the hospital. It had probably been like an hour that had went by when the contractions had got to that point. And then I had sat up and my water broke. But then I kept saying, like, I can't stop pushing. Like, as soon as my water broke, like right after that, I kept saying, like, I really need to push. And she was like, what? And she had called the nurse, and the nurse had checked me, and she told me that she said I was complete, and I didn't know what that meant. So I was like, what does that mean? And they were like, it's time to push. And I was like, I feel like I just got to the hospital and it's already time to push. So God really answered my prayers in that I got admitted. So I got to my doctor's appointment. It was like 10:30, 10:35 because I was late. And I probably got admitted a little after 11. And I was pushing the baby by like 1:45 too. So I was in the hospital, let's say 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 hours, which is my favorite number, before it was time to push the baby out, which is exactly what I had prayed for. And although once I got to the hospital, the contractions really were very hard. And I really said, I don't think, like, if this is how it's going to feel, I don't think I can do this much longer. And of course, it was time to push. So that was awesome. And I do have some footage of the pushing process. So I'll show some of that just because I have footage. But yeah, that is my story for my contractions. But educate yourself as much as you can about the labor experience, about the different stages of labor. Know what your body's doing, because when you know what's happening during labor, it helps. Because a lot of times the things we're afraid of are things we just don't know or don't understand. So all of those things that you fear in your labor, research as much as you can, because then you're preparing yourself, you're knowing what's going on. So educate yourself on every step. But one thing I didn't really know too much about was the pushing phase. I read about it, but I didn't have anything to relate to. So I'm gonna just give you some tips, because I think my pushing experience probably would have been better, and prayerfully in future pregnancies it'll be better because I'm more prepared. I was probably pushing for like 30 to 45 minutes, which still isn't bad. And I did end up getting a 2nd degree tear, which, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but if you can prevent it, that's always great. That's ideal. But one thing you see in the movies is women screaming and cussing and yelling and all that stuff. And when I first was pushing, I was like yelling because I thought that it would help, but that's the complete opposite of what you should do when you push, because when you yell and when you scream, you're using all of your energy in your voice instead of using it to push. So when you're yelling and pushing at the same time, you're not effectively pushing. So one thing that really helped me was, one, I was so like scared because I felt like I was doing everything wrong, and I felt like the baby was stuck and all this stuff, like just in my mind. So I was not relaxed, which it made it harder. But what I did was I took a deep breath, and my doula was helping me, my nurse was helping me, the doctor and my husband were all like trying to calm me down. And the one thing that I did was just take a deep breath and get my mind right. I closed my eyes and I breathed a couple times. When the contraction came, I would breathe in, I would hold my breath, and I would push as hard as I can, just like you're using the bathroom. It really was the same feeling. It's the exact same thing. Not something you can really practice, but when you're in it, it'll come naturally. Push and breathe out. Do not scream, do not yell, just relax. And the times that I would take a deep breath, relax my body, and just push were the times that I got the most effective pushes. Sometimes I was yelling, nothing was happening. One thing that we did before going into labor is my doula, and I do suggest getting a doula if you want to, a vaginal experience, or even just regardless, getting a doula, having someone there to advocate for you is very important, especially just for African American women. The statistics with just being black and giving birth are, far greater risk than other people, unfortunately. So I think having someone there to advocate you, someone there that's knowledgeable, is very important. So I was very blessed to have a doula, and she was very affordable, so that was nice. But one thing she told us to get was primrose oil, and it's just a little capsule, and I would take them. And the instructions on the internet were different than the instructions she gave me, so I'm not going to tell you exactly how to take it. Just learn from your doula, your doctor, not just online, because online was just different instructions. So I took them, and my husband would break the capsule and pour it inside of me, and he would also do different. It's called a perineal massage. So thankfully my husband was able to do that, and we used coconut oil, and it helps to stretch your vagina so that your body is prepared to push to prevent tearing. So I'm not sure if that helped or not, but I mean, why not try it? I did tear, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't horrible. So it probably could have been worse, because I do know I was straining when I wasn't supposed to. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm leaving something out as far as the pushing stage, but I can't really remember. But yeah, the pushing stage, that's what I want to say. During the pushing stage, you're still having contractions, but I don't remember them being painful, to be honest. And I will show some video footage. So all that screaming and stuff, that was me. But once I calmed down and took those deep breaths, which you'll get to see, I was being able to push more effectively. But yeah, the contractions I don't remember them being painful during the pushing stage. It was just hard. It's hard to explain. It wasn't just that it hurt. It was just a lot. The ring of fire. I told y'all I prayed about not having the ring of fire. And in the video I talk about I felt this burning. But once again, I don't remember, I remember slightly burning, but it wasn't that fire sensation. It just felt like something was there, and I wanted it, I wanted that out. So it wasn't that bad at all. And what else? Oh, the placenta. A lot of women asked about the placenta. I did not feel the placenta come out. I felt that something was still there, because you had the umbilical cord, so I could feel that, but it was not painful at all. I didn't have to push it out. I didn't have to do anything. My doctor took care of all of that. So I know some women, I was worried, is it going to be I'm pushing a baby out again? And it wasn't bad at all. I didn't feel it. It just felt a relief. And the light just cut off. Okay. My husband's all techie, so he put in, the sensor light. But yeah, that's about it. I can't think of anything else that I would want to add. I just want to say that God is amazing, and he truly answered my prayers. Like I said, he blessed me to have my baby in the hospital within 3 to 4 hours of being admitted. I was able to have my vaginal delivery with no medications. Baby's heart rate was great throughout the whole time. There were a few times where it had, gone up, but it wasn't major at all. Didn't experience the ring of fire to the extent that I expected. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I felt extremely empowered afterwards. So I say, if you want to do a not pain-free, but a natural childbirth, then do it. Go for it. Educate yourself. Pray about it. Write your prayers down. Just do your research, because it's extremely possible. And I love telling my story, because I'm proud of myself. I'm thankful, because I know that it's only because of God that I had a natural childbirth. I could not have done that on my own. But yeah, do it. And if you have questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you. Oh, yeah. And come meet my baby. He is now 5 months. My husband doesn't want to show himself for whatever reason, even though he was a part of the process. But here's my baby, and I love him so much. But yeah, I love telling my story, because it's one, it's a testimony. Two, it's so empowering, and it just amazes me that I really did it. And then you have this beautiful baby afterwards. So also, all this stuff, we're talking about natural childbirth, and it's awesome, but research the 4th trimester, because that's a whole nother video that we'll probably talk about. But research the 4th trimester and prepare yourself to be a mom to a newborn, because that part, you had the baby, now what? So get your books, watch videos on YouTube, ask your friends, join support groups on Facebook. I'm a part of a lot of support groups. And there is one on Facebook. I think it's called Heavenly Welcome. And it just talks about how childbirth can be an amazing experience. So yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Say bye.
Now we're going to watch live footage of me pushing. So you'll be able to see some things that I didn't do correctly. You'll see me panicking a little bit, but you'll also be able to see the end result of me pushing my baby out.
Shoulders off, chin down, shoulders off the bed, curl around your baby.
Consistent push, right in your bum. Push. Keep going.
Good job.
Keep going. Keep going. Hold it on. Excellent. Take a deep breath.
Curl around the baby again for me, Jacqueline. Come on.
Use all that energy right down to your bum. Push, 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 push. All right. It's gone so much.
Relax again. You're gonna feel a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. It's okay.
Let him stretch. You want to stretch.
You're doing good. Heart rate sounds good. Heart rate sounds good. Do you need a sip of water or anything? Are you okay?
Yes. Can you get some water?
Just pick out some water. Huh? What'd you say? I said thank you. Oh, you're welcome.
You want water? Okay, go get some water.
It's a nice stretch. There should be a straight behind her neck. You are doing awesome. Next one, you could be done, okay? Remember to focus on your breathing. Deep
Focus
breath.
on your breathing. Control your legs.
And
Curl your
remember to
shoulders
curl
up.
up.
Check your chin.
Chin down. You feel it?
Okay. Curl around the baby.
You're fine.
Just try to pull out some needles for the iron tip.
If you feel a contraction,
Good.
all right.
Control it.
Pull those
Control
legs
it.
back.
Control it.
Curl
Good
over
job.
that baby.
Just like that.
And push.
Go ahead. All in your bum. Just like that. Excellent.
A little bit more. Keep going. Relax the legs. Relax it. Keep going. Jacqueline, you gotta push.
Curl up for me. Curl up like you were. Bring your chin to your chest.
Yep. Just like
Bring
that.
your
Push.
shoulders
Push.
off the
Push.
bed.
Push. 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 Push.
Go ahead.
Stop pushing your legs and your bottom. Okay. Yes, you can.
Come
Deep
on,
breath.
yes, you can. Come
Do
on.
it.
Give
Come
it
on.
your all, Jacqueline. You've gotten this far. Come on.
It's almost
Come
over.
on.
Come on.
That's it. Push. 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 Push.
No.
Focus,
Do not.
focus.
Come on. You've done
Focus
this
your
this
energy.
far. Come on.
Push. Your baby needs you to push. No,
No,
he's not.
He's
You
not.
push.
Jacqueline. Come on.
Here. Curl up.
Come on.
Push. Really good pushing your bum. Go.
Bring your chin to your chest.
That's it.
One thing you'll notice is that I kept taking deep breaths just to regain my composure. Every time I took a deep breath, it really just got me back in the headspace I needed to be in. So again, a really big tip for your pushing stage is to take those deep breaths, just clear your mind so that you can get the best pushes.
Give it more. Give it more. Give it more. Give it more. Take a breath and do it again, just like that. Focus. Go.
Come on.
Curl up. Push. 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 Go a little more. Go a little more. Go a little more. Go more. Go more. Go more. Keep going. Come on. Go harder, Jacqueline, next time. Okay. Give it a second. Relax till the next one comes. Remember to use all your energy. It's building the way you need to.
No,
You're
you
about
were
to
doing
hear me
everything
say
right.
that it's burning, and this may be considered deliberate,
Yeah.
but I'm not
Listen,
sure
exactly.
because
Grab
when I read
your
about
legs.
the ring of fire,
Open up.
it was
Open up
an
your
extreme
pelvis.
burning sensation, and this, although
Harder,
it was
harder,
irritating,
harder.
it wasn't
There,
extremely
yes,
painful.
do like
It
that.
was
Just
very
like that. Just like that. No.
Don't-
Jacqueline, give me what you were giving me. Come on.
Do it again.
Do what you were doing. Come on.
Push, push,
The
push,
same
push,
thing
push.
again.
A little
Yes,
harder.
just like that. Jacqueline, no.
Focus.
Jacqueline, focus. He's coming. Come on,
Do it
focus.
again.
Do what you
Do
were
it
just
again.
doing.
He's right there. Come on, baby.
No.
Relax.
No.
Breathe.
Do it again. Deep breath.
Come on, he's coming, honey.
Push. Yep.
I'm out of pushing.
Give it again.
You're not
You
out of
got
pushing.
this.
No.
you're not. You can
Because
do
he's
it.
coming. Jacqueline, his head's halfway up.
Right.
What you were just doing is what I need.
Harder. A little more. A little
ahead.
more. A little more. A little more. A little more. A little more. Come on. Take another breath. Do it again.
Y'all, as you can see, I was really trying to get it together. Like, I would panic for a minute, I would take a deep breath, and then I would be good for a second. And I just had to keep doing that over and over because I would lose my my cool a little bit. So those deep breaths, they really, really help to get you in the right headspace to get back where you need to be.
I know. I want you to push away the burning. He's right here. No. Wait till next contraction.
The contraction.
Listen, Jacqueline, you know the worst part at the beginning of that push when it was burning? Can you push against that burn? That's when his head started to come out. If you can push like that and push it away, he's gonna slide right out. Okay? You're right there. He's gonna be on your chest in just a minute. You're doing excellent.
If you can focus on Sandra's voice, because you kind of listen.
Our son is right there.
Good.
Our son is right there. His head is right there.
You're almost done.
Okay.
Starts to build. You feel that pressure. You feel that burning. Push it away. You can make it go away. Just relax.
All right, I'm gonna try again.
Okay. For that contraction bell, it should be coming. All right, grab behind your legs.
Curl up. Look at
Focus.
Good job.
Push. Right down to your bum. Push.
He's coming. Oh, good job. He's coming. Good job. Keep pushing.
Don't push against it.
Take a breath. Do it again. Curl up. Let's go. Focus. Push. Push.
Push. Go.
No,
You
keep
got it,
going.
baby.
Keep going. Keep going.
You got it, baby.
Again. Go. Push. There's
Oh,
a
he
head.
came.
There you go.
Oh
Relax.
my God. Good job. He came
Look
out.
down.
Look.
You gotta keep pushing. There we go. There's
Oh
a
my
baby.
Hi,
Put that little cord on your.
Hey.
Hi. Relax. Relax. You're done.
Good.
Relax. Hello.
That's our baby.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Hi. She had just a little gurgly.
There you go.
He can. He's fine. Happy birthday, bud.
You did it.
Oh my goodness.
Congratulations.
Hi. Can I help you?
You did it.
Can I help you?
Baby.
Stuck to you. Hi.
Happy
I know. My goodness. He's fine. See, I'm just trying to work it out. Yep.
Oh,
Just need to work it out.
Why is it so purple?
Because he
Yes,
has
you
to
just came down and you have to take some breaths.
get everything to circulate.
Wow.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
You did it.
You did so good.
It's okay, baby. Yeah. That was
And it was
early. Say what in the world?
You did that quick.
What in the world? What just happened? What just happened, Mom? That's a nice
He's a nice sized boy.
Sure is.
Yeah, he's so tall.
All right, let me know when my minute's up.
Everything okay with
Wait a
you?
minute.
Fine. Yeah, she's working it out. She can help. I can make you cry some more. Oh, I know. I'm the mean girl. The mean nurse make you cry.
But you did it.
Fred, you cutting the cord?
No,
You don't want to cut the cord? All right. Do you want to cut his cord?
I don't.
No? Okay.
It's turning white. It's done. It's done. It's over a minute. Make you cry.
Are you sure you don't want to go?
No, I should cut it. What I cut it?
You're going to cut it. I'm going to actually show you.